Welcome along, everyone. What was it like, that experience, jumping into your first race?
It's been my life ever since I can remember.
Look, it really was unbelievable.
I think it's awesome.
Just go out there and give it your all every time. And
when you're young and you get in your old man Superstock and you wreck it, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Craig Booker with the big smile. He is the voice that's behind what you get to hear every Sunday night.
Give it the hoot, Daddy. Look at that field. Doesn't it look fantastic?
Welcome along, everyone. It's your Wednesday show. It's in the Kokpit with Kinser, where we catch up with motorsport races up and down the countryside, some that may be even overseas as well. We've got a couple of special guest sisters who will be joining us on the show. But right now, though, hope you've had a great Wednesday and been safe out there with the wintry, cold, wet weather we've been having over the last few days or so. We're going to get into bump and run with Booker, who's going to join me.
Give it the hoot, Daddy. Yep. Hey, g'day, Kins. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate. I've been busy all day, mate, and back in a hot seat for another exciting show through to 8:30 tonight. So to everyone who's jumped on already, saying the big shout out. So just want to say hi to Bex, who's always on there, Carl Carpendale, Jason Coley and Paul Mason also watching as well. Yeah, mate, have been trying to keep warm and dry out of this weather. Harley Rob, we're going to catch up with you sometime, Harley. Also Brad Wright, Lacey McCarthy, Tyson Wooten and Tom Ward who've jumped on, plus Dave Thomas is a regular viewer as well. So each and one of you that have jumped on board, welcome to the show. An exciting show here. But let's talk about our E-Series, our Pops Online Parts Store E-Series Street Stocks.
Yeah, mate, what an opening round that was, eh? Holy moly. 24 people turned up on the night. And Brad Lane won his first event. We've been with us over the time, so he's won his first ever event, so that was pretty cool for him to take a win. I'll tell you what though, Kins, it was hard work trying to finally commentate on that one with so many drivers. Everything was happening so quick. I actually struggled a bit, to be honest. I mean, we're normally only having 15, 16 drivers, 25 drivers or 24 drivers on all at once. It got a bit confusing for me for a while, so it might take me a little bit to get back into it, but shit, it was a good opening round at Key, buddy, wasn't it? And Pops, of course,
totally.
And it's all brought to you by Pops Online Store, our Pops Chainsaws and Mowers. Fantastic sponsors on board for us. So, yeah, it was a really good meeting. Plenty happened too, didn't it?
Oh, hell of a lot, actually. It all unfolded. I'll tell you what, the real-life racers who have joined us at the series have just given us positive feedback. They enjoyed it. They'll come to grips with it as well. And like you said, the winner, Brad Lane, who joined us with the E-Series on mods a little while back. We had the Super Saloons, but we've got the Street Stock drivers on track with us. And we head down to Palmerston North this coming Sunday. So action gets underway with the build-up at 8:15. Not too sure if you muted yourself there.
Sorry, there we go. Yes, we are in Palmerston North. Should be a nice big track for us down there and plenty of carnage, I should imagine. Spinner's a winner, they reckon, so let's hope the boys get that all sorted next week. And then a couple of weeks after that, Kins, I just want to make a reminder that we're going to do our cancer awareness meeting. So all those watching, if you're watching the stream that night, there will be a way to donate towards the Cancer Society. It's our big meeting. We're going to promote it. We hope everyone gets behind it. But I'm looking forward to it, to help out to make the awareness for cancer, and especially for men as well. If you get a lump or you get something, get it checked. Don't wait. Hey.
Oh, totally. Men and women out there, and September's coming up, which is always a huge month of the year that's dedicated to cancer as such as well. Look, and we touched on this a couple of weeks back, a couple of close mates of ours,
yes,
obviously, so that's what we're doing it for. Just bouncing back to last opening night of the Pop Series, the Street Stocks on the feature race, Pete Wilson was third, I came second, Evan Tydal won that. So they took away those little titles. But, of course, Jesse Pollock-Hewson, real driver, joined us. He came third. Steve Emmett, third NZ. And as you mentioned, in the real good-looking Aussie Spears car, the 119H of Brad Lane took away the opening championship of the King Country chance. But, yeah, we're back at Palmy. Looking forward to that this coming Sunday.
Absolutely, mate, 100%. So yeah, I can't wait. And next Wednesday we're going to have a bit of a change up, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Next Wednesday's shows, we're just in the middle of booking something pretty special. So yeah, it's moving away from Speedway for a week, something a bit different, because as we are a New Zealand motorsport show, not just a Speedway focused show. But let's get on with it, kids. We've got two lovely young ladies waiting to come in and have a word to talk to you, and people aren't here to hear me babble on, so shall I bring the lovely ladies in for you to have a chat, eh?
All right, mate. You go do your hootenanny. We'll catch up with you soon, eh?
Hootenanny over there. Yeah, that's right.
All right, mate. Thank you. Catch you later, eh?
Okay, mate.
So there we go. That's Bump and Run with Booker. He's back on Sunday, bringing you the live commentary as we bring you the E-Series. Thanks to Potts once again. Pete, Tom, Madu, Alison, everyone that's jumped on. You can see the lovely ladies joining us, the Halcrow sisters, Danielle Ashleigh. Hey, girls, how you going?
Hi, I'm good. Good.
Yeah, awesome. Firstly, I want to say thank you to the both of you for joining our show here, on a Wednesday, taking time out. And thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. Let's get into this, obviously, because everyone's asking and waiting for all the questions. Dave Thomas, we will catch up with SVG. Shane Van Gisbergen will be joining us. He's just got to get away from being media shy at the moment, and he is coming to the country, so we are going to catch up with him. Just keep an eye on the Facebook page, and we'll keep you updated on that. Girls, just back to you two, though, the obvious question. Who's the oldest out of you two?
I am.
There's a slight little delay with some audio stuff here, but we'll just keep going with it. So that's all good. So that's all fine. So we'll move along. So plenty going on there. And I've got another delay coming on through as well. Hey, just firstly, the obvious question is, we know how it started, but better remind all the viewers who are watching. Ashley, how did you get into it?
Just main racing for decades now, and I've been going since I was about 3 months old. So pretty much the day I turned 12, I was straight into a mini stock.
Yeah.
And I just continued through.
And you, Danielle?
Basically the exact same as Ashley since I was 3 months old. Just grew up with the sport, really. And
well, I suppose you two had no choice, when Dad's been doing it for like many, many, many years, for decades, Dad's been racing and he still goes good. So, there's all of that stuff going on as well. Look, I'll just break Booker down a bit. I just thanks for that, Dave Thomas, for that little question popping up there. So, mini stocks, both of yous?
Yeah.
And how'd you go, Danielle?
I sucked in mini stocks. Wasn't my thing. I was so scared racing mini stocks. I did not enjoy it. It wasn't my thing, and I was actually surprised that I did have so much motivation to move up into the next class, but I guess I saw it as a completely new opportunity.
Yeah. Did you ever come out to Mini Stocks in Paradise?
Yes, I did. I almost qualified once for the top group, and then I think my starter motor didn't work for the last race.
Yep.
So I didn't make it out for the last race, so I didn't qualify.
And yourself, Ashley, same as your sister, obviously. Did you ever race at the MVP or MIP?
I did. I never had too much, a couple runoffs and everything there. But I never did super well, especially in this mini spot.
Yeah.
But I did have other luck in other meetings, especially my last probably 3 seasons. I was going quite well on my mini stock.
And you did it right through the whole age group and everything, both years, yourself, Ash? You went straight through to the age where, well, there was enough of that? Or did you think, well, like Danielle said, this sucks, you just want to get into saloons?
No, I aged out. I quite enjoyed my last season or two. We ran a cup to organise in Wellington, the Girls Invitational and everything. So I quite enjoyed my last couple of stuck with it.
Mm. And you, Danielle, did you stick right through to the end of the age group, with the mini stocks as well? Yeah.
I stuck right through it, and then yeah, till I wasn't allowed anymore, and
Yeah.
never
So
gave up.
you never go, well, that's good. That's good that you never gave up. Look, and that's a good class. And let's just actually elaborate and talk on this class. I see Lacey's put a quick question here. What's it like racing with Amy Eckersley at Te Marua Girl Power?
Yeah, I love racing with other females in the sport. Very big advocate for females racing, because when I started, there were barely any.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first female in Wellington to actually race in another class other than mini stocks.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't a big thing,
Yeah.
for girls to be racing. So I love that there's so many girls out there doing it now.
No, that's cool. That's cool to know and good to hear. And we're going to ask that question, Carl, a bit later on in the interview, because we always get the question around the favourite and bogey track thing. So we'll get it out there. But actually, just from you, mini stocks, it's a great class, especially for young ones who want to get involved in Speedway.
Yeah, it's definitely a good class to get into younger kids. It's a good starting point, and it is something that you can do on a budget to get just get like new drivers in and sort of give them a taste for it. I feel like just get them one, they just want to continue, which was the same as us. As soon as we got on the track, so it's definitely a good class to get that age group sort of coming up. And it's also good that you learn a lot of skills driving on the track that you can put into the road, especially when you're going for your license. It definitely helps just with basic things like that.
Yeah, it's a good confidence builder too, especially for young ones, boys and girls, to get into this, because you start driving these race cars, Danielle, before you actually get to drive a real car on the road, and it's a great stepping stone, because you've got to get yourself comfortable with cars around you. You might get the odd little tap. Yes, okay, you're just doing ovals, but it builds a lot of confidence.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's great. And hey, look, it's affordable as well in some sense. You can get sponsors on board, and if the family's going to be there, and look, families do love it when their young children's out there at the starting age doing the circuit. And I suppose you had all your family following yourself there, Danielle and Ashley, both of yous?
Yeah, definitely.
It's such a cool family sport.
What were you going to say, Ashley?
It's definitely like a good family coming, but it's also on the affordable side. But like mainly with mini stocks, you don't really have to buy tires all the time. You can just basic fill up a fuel can, get the odd straightening out bumpers, which is quite common in the mini stocks, but nothing overly good for everyone to get into.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing, look, with both of you girls, Danielle, did you have to do much work on your mini stock in those days, or did Dad and some of the family have to work on it for you? Did you have to jump in there and do any bit of it?
Mine never got wrecked.
Oh, okay.
It kind of was just good to go throughout the whole season. I don't even think we ever replaced a front bumper. I could be wrong. Maybe one, maybe two, but over the 5 years that we raced,
you just went around and around in circles. You just putted around, didn't you? Yeah. Well, okay, well, Ash, I've seen your racing in the saloon, so I'm going to ask you, did you have to replace your bumpers?
We actually painted my bumpers and just went with bare steel most meetings, because we found every time we paint Sunday would be ripping it off and putting a new one on. So we gave up painting the bumpers just every couple of meetings.
Yeah. Sweet. And then, of course, the obvious transition from out of mini stocks, and it's a great stepping class, and it's a great introduction in the Speedway or any form of motorsport, because so many great drivers have just come from out of mini stocks and moved into different variety of classes, and some have just taken off tenfold. I'm guessing it was just the obvious to get into saloon racing, eh? So who jumped into it first, or did you guys, both of you, start at the same time? How did that all eventuate?
I jumped in first.
Yeah.
So I'm 2 years older than Ashley.
Okay.
So I did 2 seasons before she came in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess Dad just started building a saloon. There wasn't really any conversation about it, I don't think. I just always thought I'm going to go into a saloon, and Dad did too. So that's what happened.
That's how it happened. And 2 years later, pretty well the same thing for you, Ashley?
I was actually a bit different. I always wanted to go into stock cars. Pretty much
Oh.
said that right from when I was 12. But obviously, like, I didn't grow in stock cars. I had to go out just on like a club day here, and then that's sort of when I decided that's where I was going to go. I think Dad always kind of wanted. I don't think he ever really wanted me to be jumping in a stock car or a super stock thing. But yeah, I've had to go in a stock car and I don't mind it, but I definitely prefer
The saloon, eh? What about you, Danielle? Did you think about out of mini stocks? Were you going to do a simple transition into the saloon, or did you contemplate thinking of similar to what Ashley? Did you want to have a bash in a stock car or anything else?
No, I wanted to go straight into a saloon.
Pretty simple, straightforward, eh? And just keep going.
I don't want any bashing in a stock car.
So that was an easy transition. And what was it like, from getting used to, with you, Ashley, starting with the mini stock and then you made into the saloon, obviously. Easy transition, I would guess it was. It's in the genes with Dad and so forth. Or did it take a season or two just to get comfortable with it all?
it was pretty good. I was actually sponsored a car for my first. My dad was building one. Pretty much my first in a saloon, I drove into the wall because I forgot about the right-hand side of the car.
Yeah.
So, because it's a lot wider on the side, it took a little bit longer to get used to the car, but after a couple of meetings, I had the hang of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. And you sat down there, was it an easy, smooth sailing for you as well, or did it take a little while?
No, I actually did pretty well when I first went out, which I think was a shock to everyone. No, I got out there and I just had newfound confidence. I think it's because it was a totally new thing, so I was starting fresh, and yeah, I was very confident going into the saloon.
Why do you think it was going to be a shock to everyone? Why was that? Because of how you drove a mini stock?
Because of how I drove a mini stock, yeah.
Just come to grips with it real quick, eh? So can you remember?
Everyone thought I was just gonna slowly pot along the pole line.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I just went for it.
Just proved them all wrong, eh? Yeah, it might have been your calling, that's what you wanted. You want a bit more faster and get in there and do it. Was it like that eventually, did it take a little while? You start off the back, or did you just get straight into it and put the foot down?
I believe I had to start off the back for a few meetings. Yeah. I think, I know in Wellington there was a mentors program, and you had to basically start off the back for, I think it was a minimum of 3 meetings. And then I guess if they didn't feel like you were confident enough, then you had to keep going off the back till they felt like you were.
Good.
I think after the 3 meetings, they were like, you can start in the grid. And I was like, no, it's okay.
What about you, Ashley? Were you similar to that? Or did you just, obviously you had to do your mandatory 3, but then you're pretty comfortable going into the grids?
Much as soon as I'd done my 3, I was straight into the grid. So I kind of pushed my way up, got in the mix of it right off the bat, pretty much.
Yeah. So, okay, Kyle Carpendale, where to get your question in there, mate? Favourite track and bogey track? You, Danielle, first. Your favourite track and bogey track?
Favourite track. I think maybe Invercargill or Huntley.
Okay. Why?
I've just always raced my best there. At those 2 meetings I've only raced at each of them once, but those 2 meetings I've done quite well. Bogey track. I don't like Wellington.
Oh, really? What did Dad say about that? Because he would have had the best setup for that bloody place.
To be honest, that track has changed a lot
Okay.
over the years. Like, and when I say a lot, I mean week in and week out. It's a different
Oh.
track. I haven't raced there. I might have raced there once last season. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't gel with the track itself, whether we're not getting the setup right or which I don't think is the case. I don't know. Me on the track, I don't know.
It's just one of those things. I think once you get then that mindset of what track and that's your bogey track, you might be able to change that somewhere along the line. But you can only but try and see what you do. Yourself, Ash, when it comes to favourite track, what's your favourite track?
It would probably either be Palmy or Bay Park, just the bigger size tracks. I like them. I like the corners better. And then bogey track, I would say I have one, but if I had to put one, it'd probably be Napier, just because this season I've had a couple incidents going in corners or ball joints breaking, stuff like that. But if everything goes to plan.
And I'm guessing what you Ash, have you raced most tracks? Have you? I'm guessing you've done a fair bit in the north. What about the south?
Done every track in the North Island and the Saloon, apart from maybe Wanganui and Rotorua. South Island, I've only done I think one other. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Did we do Blenheim?
Yeah.
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 Blenheim. So you're in the boat. I'm guessing you're very similar to Ashley, Danielle, or because you're a couple of years old. Have you raced any more tracks or less tracks in there?
I've been to Blenheim a couple of times.
Yeah.
In Invercargill. We also raced Oxford and mini stocks.
Yeah.
We were meant to go to Christchurch for the New Zealand Champs, but unfortunately our pop passed away, and we just decided it was best to stay.
Okay,
we didn't want to go down there. And North Island, I think I've done everywhere but Rotorua.
One day?
Last season. Hopefully they're going to bring back another meeting this coming season. Scary little track to be in a saloon on.
Yeah, you're right. And I tell you what, there'll be big meetings there coming up, I would guess, sometime soon. So we both have the both of you there racing. Obviously, it's a very, very close family thing, you two girls racing together. How close is that bond between the two of you two when it comes to racing? Or do you just go out there and do your own individual thing? Do you kind of listen to each other or take notes from each other? How close is the bond between you two, particularly you two? Because I'm going to ask you what's Dad's input like, but what's the bond like between you two when you're racing?
I think we're quite supportive of each other. Out on the track, like, we're competitive against each other, but then if you mess with one of us, the other one's not necessarily happy about it either. I think we're also quite aware of when one's doing quite well and needs to get past or anything like that, then I think we acknowledge that pretty well between us two as well.
Yeah. What about you, Ash? What's your reply to your sister? You got her back? Have you got her back?
I've always had her back, even in the mini stocks.
Yeah.
It goes back to that we had a little thing at mini stocks. But yeah, racer, like I'll give her the odd little push every now and then if she's holding me up a little. At the end of the day, I am more competitive with her. She is my sister, but like her on the track. But yeah, we'll always have each other's back with racing.
So I'm guessing the both 2 years in your nature because of a Dad in his race for so long. So what's Dad's input to you first, Daniel? What's Dad's big driving input to your racing?
I don't know. Do you want
Just
to give
go.
me
We'll get in the sneak in there and pop in very soon. But I'm guessing, get out there and do your best and do what you do. What about you, Ash? Does Dad have a lot of input into your racing?
Quite often I'll get like you need to beat
Yeah.
this driver, like he'll say like you're gonna win this race, like you're going out there, like you're coming back with a checkered flag. He does, I guess, push me to make sure I am doing the best that I can, and he's really started like pushing with the setup, making sure that I'm understanding what's going on, and really input in after every single race about how I feel the car and what he thinks I need it to do. But yeah, he's always pushing me to get out there and beat all the boys.
Yeah. Do you two, actually, I'll ask this question. Do you think, you're lucky in the Speedway, well, when you think Dad's been racing for so long in the saloons and excelled in that, and the two girls, there's not many. The one off the top of my head, I'm thinking straight away, it's Pete Reeves with Ethan and Asher out there, and so forth. Do you think you're in that kind of boat when you think you're very, very lucky, the both years, to be out there racing and alongside with Dad sometimes and everything like that? How cool is that? Put it into the people who are writing comments and watching the show, how cool that is, to be racing as a family, doing the sport you love, but let alone on the track with Dad as well and with yourselves. How cool is that, Ashley?
It's definitely like a cool thing. Dad's probably one of my biggest back-up if I've passed him or if I'm right on his tail. I'll always give him a little bit of a rack up. It's definitely a pretty special thing being out of the race with three of us on the track together. It's quite a cool thing being able to have everyone there together doing it. It's definitely quite a special thing.
Yeah. Is that special for you, Danielle, when you got your sister next year and sometimes Dad's out there just doing it as a big family thing out there in Speedway? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's very cool. We're very privileged to be able to do that. And yeah, especially racing with Dad out on the track is fun, and everyone thinks he lets us win, but he will not let us win. And it's quite funny to, the three of us to be out there, especially when me and Ashley beat him.
Yeah, hard. I bet you two just give it that bit extra. You're all competitive, obviously, in your own nature.
Yeah. Dad's definitely surprisingly competitive against us, even being his daughters.
Yeah.
We were in Ohakea once, which is a black track. We're just practicing, and Dad comes up. I was obviously in his way. Dad comes up beside me and just bang straight in the side of my door and pushes me out the way.
Give you a hell of a fright, did it? Or did you know that was going to come?
Oh, I didn't get a fright, but I was just like, what are you doing?
And Ash, has Dad ever done that to you?
I would. Not off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Will like in the last season, even just with him in the super and me, I'm always giving him a run for his money, pushing up, or trying to get around the outside of him, and he's probably not quite there. And same with me.
Yeah. So actually, Carl Carpenter's got a good question. What keeps you motivated to keep racing season after season, Danielle?
I just love the sport, all aspects of it, and I like to be a part of it, and I enjoy going out there. It's a different feeling being out there. I guess the adrenaline, and you're just sort of in your own little world, and I couldn't ever live without that. I look forward to it. I'm already looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it the week after the season ended.
Wow. And you got a similar answer to that too, I'm guessing, Ashley? You just hang out for it every season once it rocks around?
Yeah, I guess it comes back to the family aspect living back down in Palmy. It's sort of like a thing where it's a week after week and all family and stuff like that, and then also the social side of it. I mean, pretty much our whole Speedway people of different classes now, everyone and their partners all kind of just become. But yeah, it's something the adrenaline you get from racing and everything, it's still just something you want to get back out of there and do. If you're sitting on the sideline for quite a time, you always want to be out there racing.
Yeah. Yeah, totally, 100%. I can understand that where you're coming from there. And I'm guessing too, this is a pretty simple question that's going to be answered. 1, 2, 4, Danielle. 2, 4, 2, Ashleigh. I'm guessing I know what the answer to the 2, 4 is, and 1 and 2 means when you put it all together. It's pretty common sense, isn't it? Say, why 1, 2, 4 then, Danielle?
Well, Dad took number 24, which was my mini stock number.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I added the 1 in there because, you know, number 1. Also, got to have the 24 in there too, so.
Yeah. You're exactly the same, I'm guessing, Ash.
Yeah, I was 42. Danny had a 3-digit number, so I wanted a 3-digit number. But I was 242, so it was like the same numbers with 1 in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's
just one of those things, eh? That's cool, Les. Aside from the Speedway, and I know you just live for it and look for it, you can't wait till the season's getting underway, because what are we now, coming to mid-July? August, September, October has been a real short turnaround. October 12th is the first meeting of the new season in Gizzy, and Palmy, I think, looking forward to Labour weekend. So how are the cars tracking at the moment with the off-season? How are things progressing before will you be at opening night for Palmy?
Yeah, we will be. My car is undergoing an engine rebuild.
Okay.
It's a bit sad. It's been overdue for one, and we were struggling a lot with it this past season.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really do any changes to the car last off season because I was pregnant, so we didn't even know if or when I would be racing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just didn't touch it really.
Yeah.
And then, I think that's about all that needs doing for the car.
Yeah, yourself, actually, all season you, because I remember watching a race and a bit of damage, but, you know, that's racing. But how's off season been for you?
I actually have no idea what state my car. It's back at my parents' in the shed. I know there's not a lot, obviously, with new panels anyway, which was the majority of the damage I copped last season. I would say we have a lot to do mechanical-wise. My car's been pretty fast, all and quicker.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been mainly a really decent kickover, I think, and designing get it ready to go for next season shouldn't be too hard.
Hey, we've talked a lot about Speedway, you know, the racing since mini stock days in your younger years. You developed and moved into your saloon class and so forth. Aside from the Speedway, and you've said you just had your little bubba, Danielle, is there anything else the 2 years do aside from? Is there any other sports or any other activities that you get up to? Ashley, is there anything else aside from Speedway that you get into?
I'm quite heavily into like the gym. Weightlifting, not so much.
Oh, wow.
Enjoy. So I pretty much try go for the moment. I did a little bit of mountain biking and weight uppo. Starting to really get into all the water sports up here.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully get some winter as well. Other than that, that's probably all I in the way of sports and activities go. Yeah.
And yourself, Danielle, do you do anything aside being a mum now, but obviously Speedway? You don't have the time, do you?
No. And I'm sort of back at work part-time as well. And I mean, like, I'll go to the gym. My friend drags me there.
So what is work for you? What do you do for work?
I work for the SPCA.
Cool.
So animal welfare and care. Yeah.
Awesome. And yourself, Ashley, what do you do for a living?
I actually work at a Mitsubishi, Kia, and Suzuki.
Yeah.
So I work in the service department side of things.
Mean. How old's Bubs, Danielle?
7 months.
Wow, eh? 7
Yep.
months. Before you know it, be one, and holy hell. Do you
I
reckon
know.
Bubs will get into a race car in many years to come? What do you reckon?
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already staring at the things whenever they drive past. He's like,
Look, it's that saying, it's in the blood, and I think it's just obvious. Say, Dave Thomas has put a question up here. Has your dad still got a sprint car in the shed?
he has a sprint car in the shed.
Yeah. Would you be keen to have a go in a sprint car one day? Danielle, would you be keen to jump in Dad's car or sprint car?
Yeah, definitely. I'd have a go on one.
Yourself, Ashley?
Yeah, I'd be pretty keen to jump in a sprint car, sort of the only further up you can really go from Super Saloon, so I'd be to give it a go. Dad did it for a couple of years and looked like quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So I'd be pretty keen to get on one, yeah.
Yeah. I suppose the obvious question is going to come out of this, any other speedway class, but before I ask that question though, you're doing saloons, super saloons. Dad's done super saloons for like decades, obviously. Danielle, are you racing super saloons, or Ashley, is one of you racing supers or jumping in Dad's or anything going on there? What's the latest there?
We're both jumping in and out of Dad's super saloon. So, yeah, kind of sharing them around.
Yeah. Good. So, Ashley, you've been in the super saloon. How are you liking that?
Yeah, I have. I've had a couple meetings this year and really enjoy it. It's sort of just that little step up, which is a bit different to the main field where I'm used to being more towards the front. So it's quite different, but it's been really good up in my saloon driving. It sort of gives me something to chase, but more power and everything. It's a whole different feeling, yeah.
Is that where you see yourself, obviously, in the future years to come, racing a super saloon? Is that where you're going to be, you know, because Dad's doing it now, you've had a taste of it. Is that where you want to see yourself, in the super saloon?
Yeah, I've been pushed Dad out of the seat for a while now. So I'm slowly getting there. The second car over the first lockdown that we had, and he got that going. Just a few refining issues with it at the moment, but yeah, I'm way up into that. Hopefully, get some more in the coming season, and hopefully maybe end up full time in one of them.
Wow. What about you, Danielle? You know, you've done your years in the limited. You're saying you were sharing the role in Dad's super saloon. Is that you exactly the same as your sister here? Can you see yourself racing full-time super saloon?
Yeah, super saloons would be the main goal. I definitely still enjoy saloons, but super saloons definitely a bit more like racing, door-to-door racing, whereas saloons are a bit messier.
Yeah. It's
Like-
that yeah.
But yeah, no, that's definitely the main goal is to get up to them eventually.
Yeah. I'll ask you this question while I'm talking about super saloons, Danielle. Look, we can see super stock drivers are now moving into the super saloon class. Peter Pinkston is an example. We got Malcolm Nata as an example. Maybe a few others coming on through. What do you reckon that's going to be like when you're thinking, I know you didn't like the bump and crash because you didn't want to do stock cars and super stocks. What's it going to be like on the track when you're in the super saloon and you know, and there's a couple of guys in this on the grid in your group who got super stock backgrounds, or you're just going to give it all and who cares? They got to try and work out and get around you, eh?
I won't be too worried about them, to be honest. I think they're going to learn pretty quickly. If they drive it like a super stock, they're going to be emptying their wallets a lot faster.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah,
And
good
they
answer.
certainly don't hold up like a super stock does. So
Good answer. Brilliant answer. Actually, same question to you. You know, when you got these guys who are contemplating to switch into a super saloon these days, what are you going to be like on the track? And I know you'll just give it hell, wouldn't you?
Yes, I've actually raced with at the end of this last season. And they're doing. I mean, everyone knows the difference in rules, no contact, and everything like that. But yeah, I think they were doing perfectly fine. They did perfectly fine at the end of last season, and then their foot wrong, it will get pulled into the line pretty quickly. But I think it's just like swapping it for stock cars. When I did that, you just kind of got to remember what class you're in.
Yeah, Peter Bingston took it to like duck to water, you know, when you think, mind you, with what he's purchased and everything, and he's just come to grips with it. It's just a bit more speed. And I know the rear end was getting closer to the wall too, and you think, you can't bounce off like a superstock, you know. This thing's going to give, eh? Do you like the Highline? Danielle, do you like racing the Highline stuff?
No, I prefer to be down a bit lower. Though I find the Highline these days gets pretty like marbly.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone really does well on the marbles. No, I stay lower down to the track, but that tends to be where my car handles best.
Yeah. And yourself, Ashley, you mid, high, low, you like your sister, or what do you like? You just do what you do?
Wherever the track is for each race, I do quite like the sort of able to throw it in a little bit more sideways and get a bit more drive out of the corners. And again, like I can still drive tight if it's a tight track like Huntley or sometimes Huntsville. But yeah, I do prefer that higher line, sort of looking it around at the outside.
Yeah. Danielle, you're the 2 year older than your younger sister here. Who's your closest rival when it comes to racing in the saloon class? Who do you see as your closest rival, or is it going to be nearly everyone on the track?
I don't know. I don't know if I have like a close rival as such. Ashley, maybe.
Yeah. Your sister, yeah. Yourself, Ashley, who's your closest rival when it comes to race? I suppose everyone, eh?
Yeah, I've got quite a few. I've had quite a few, like Jared Fletcher up in Bay Park, Dad. I've had a good few seasons racing with Calvin out of Palmy, and we always have a good laugh after it when I go around the outside of him. But yeah, a lot of the driving good battles with now, so quite enjoying it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Madu, you are right. Actually, these ladies will go well in supers. You know, they're a joy to watch in their saloon class, and they give it their all. They leave all the rubbiness racing. You're right, Dave. All the actions out on the track, and the natural progression will be to go to supers, just like what their dad is. So, who's your inspirational driver? Ashley, with you, who's your one that you look up to with racing over the career you've done? Who's the one you look up to?
Obviously always been Dad.
Yeah.
A lot of people like they started in the saloons, stepped up into the super saloons. I really enjoy racing. Definitely look up to them and seeing what they've done. Obviously they've had a lot of cars over the season, so
yeah,
definitely look up to them and their style of driving and how they handle the track.
Yeah. And yourself, Danielle? Aside from Dad?
Yeah, obviously Dad. Another person would be Kristen Vermeulen when she was racing.
Oh, yes.
Saloons, just because she really, she does well. I don't think she's still. I don't know. I think she's still racing late models in Australia when she can, but. She sort of gave it her all and didn't care what anyone was saying. It kind of goes back to that, girls racing kind of thing.
Yeah. Cool. And
Yeah,
that's
she's
cool. It's cool. It's so cool to see girls racing in Speedway. Every class and Girls on Pole has a Facebook page, a brilliant Facebook page at their Girls on Pole. So it is massive and it just shares so many girls that are racing all sorts of classes up and down our country. It's just so great to see. Look, we spoke with Bex, no, when it comes to super stocks and stock cars and just what she's created now. And you see the ladies in their little class racing at Rotorua in their championship, it's just growing. It's so good to see. And you hear a lot of girls popping up in the mini stock class that we spoke about earlier. It's just so cool. I tell you what, some of these girls really give it to these boys out there, and some of them bloody show them up. It's just so awesome to see. Hey, Tracy Vincent, thanks for your questions, and it is good to see ladies out there and doing what they do. So her question is, any other classes you ladies want to have a go at? Ashley, any other class aside from saloons? Is there anything else?
I'd be pretty keen to have a go on a super stock. Other more open wheel like sprint cars or like TQs or something. I'd be pretty keen. Little cars, they seem to fly around the track. So always wanted to have a go on one of them and grab it.
Yeah, yourself, Danielle, any other class you'd keen to be jumping in behind the wheel and have a go at?
I've definitely sort of had my eye on TQs and midgets. Having a go on one of them would be pretty cool. I'm just kind of curious to see how I would go. I do surprisingly want to get in the stock car. I just need to grow a pair. Sitting there and, Taylor's essentially like, take it out if you want. But it's, maybe one day I'll get out there and who knows, I might surprise myself. But they hit really hard.
If Rebecca Barr, because we've interviewed her on the show and she was good to talk to, very motivational around young ladies getting into Speedway. If she said to you, got a hold of you, says, look, here's the stock car, would you jump in there? Have a go one night at the track? That's slow to reply. Okay, you do need to grow a set. Okay. You would actually.
I really do want to have a go, but I don't want to be straight lined or stuck in the wall or I don't know if Taylor's made any enemies over the last season, so we're getting his car. Yeah. I know there's a couple of cars that have been targeting him, so I don't want to be the receiver of that.
Oh, hell. What about you, Ashley? Yeah, you'll be determined if someone asks you jump behind the superstar wheel, you'll get in there. You wouldn't even hesitate, would you?
Nah, jump straight on in. I had I was sponsored for the stock car as well by Max Motors. Yeah. We've actually still got it. It's definitely a whole different style of racing, a whole different skill set that's required, but I'd definitely had a decent hit from Pete Reeves in the pit gate at Palmy. Yeah. Put off a different driver. Yeah. Decent hit, so yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to jump back in another one.
You mentioned Kirsten Vermeulen and the late model stuff, Danielle. She's been doing some of that. I'm not too sure if she's still racing or over Australia or whatever. She was doing a stint in Aussie. If the opportunity arose for you girls to go race, whether it's Australia, maybe to go to the States and do the big late model stuff, you wouldn't turn it down, would you? You wouldn't turn it down, actually, would you?
Nah, not at all. I'd love to go overseas anywhere and have a kind of vehicle. It'd be pretty cool to get into like a late model or something. I know it down either. If not, he'll probably steal the opportunity off of me.
Yeah. And you too, I can see you going, you'd be into it, eh, Daniel? You'd be into that rose up.
Yeah, I did actually get offered a ride in a late model over in the States.
Wow.
But it was right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
It was up to me to kind of also get myself over there and everything. It was quite a casual arrangement, but it was something I was going to look into. But yeah, COVID messed everything up for everyone, I think.
Yeah, it buggered up a lot of things there too. What unlucky, eh? And Madu, Caitlin Hayward, yeah, she's another one out there still peddling hard out in the saloon, super saloon, and going good in that as well. And we talked about other cars on the speedway circuit, TQs, midgets, sprint cars, super stocks. You're currently in saloons and having a bit of a dabble, sharing duties in super saloons. Let's switch away from the oval and the dirt. And Ashley, if there was another class of vehicle on the tarmac or the asphalt that might be your interests that you would have a go at, is there anything that that you would love to give a go at?
I'll get into anything. I'd be pretty keen to get into something on the tarmac. Basically anything with four wheels and I'll jump into.
Yeah. Yeah. And yourself, Danielle, would you have a go at the tarmac stuff? Anything interest you?
NASCAR for sure.
Really? Yeah, NASCAR, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Maybe one day, eh? What about rallying? Would you do rallying, jumping and sliding around the corners, pulling the brakes on and listening to your thing? No? Yeah, Ashley's yes and Danielle's no.
No, I wouldn't take directions well enough.
Yeah.
Someone would be like, turn right, and I'd go left.
Would you take to it, Ashley, into it, rallying?
Yeah, I'd be pretty keen to get into as long as you've got someone good on your team and everything like that with you. I'd be to go something a lot different to just going around an oval. So yeah, I'd be pretty keen to get.
Some of the tarmac off-road truck stuff looks quite interesting when you got the jumps when you come in on the big tracks, and actually you can still give a bit of bump, bit of nudge here, there. It looks quite exciting. Would you have a go at that kind of stuff? You know, the trucks I'm talking about, they lift up on the side on the angle when they go around the corner and you jump off, but you can like bump and rubbings racing. Would you give that a go, Ashley?
Yeah, I'll always give it once again it'd be, if I got the opportunity, I'd always take it. I mean, it's something real, the skill set of driving, and it'd take a bit to get your mind round, and it'd definitely be something like that, yeah.
What about yourself, Danielle? Something that's a bit of more bumping on the tarmac?
I'd give it a go.
I like how you say that. Hey, if you didn't realize too, myself and Bump and Run with Booker, we're talking about an E-Series that's online, sim racing stuff. It's sponsored by Pops. Look, if you haven't seen it, just jump on Sunday, 8:15. We'll do a build-up, and it's our second round. We're at Palmerston North, actually, racing online there, 24, 25 drivers. We've got a handful of real street stock drivers joining us. Have any of you ever dabbled in the world of sim racing? Actually, ever had a go at that, or you're a PlayStation girl, Xbox girl? Have you had a go?
No, I'm a PlayStation or Xbox. My fiance, on the other hand, is pretty good at it, but but I mean, it'd be always fun to jump on and see how it goes too. But not quite good with the little controllers, but I guess it's all something and see if you can pick it up. But
yeah. There's steering wheels now. There's everything. It's just like sitting in a real thing. Yeah. So you Daniel, you ever jumped behind a simulation seat and had to go at an online racing game?
Nah, I haven't. Not that I can think of, anyway.
Yeah. Oh wow. No, that's all I ask. Because there's a few out there doing that stuff and into it. And I tell you what, if you turn up at Miani and Craig Booker, who we had on before at the start of the show, he's got a spare sim sitting there, go over there, pop in there and have a go at the saloon car, actually. Yeah. You'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Right.
Be surprised how many actually, we made mention of Brad Lane, who joined us, and Brad Lane known for modifieds, like his dad and so forth. And he won the Street Stock Series, actually, I was talking about on Sunday. He just loves it. And some of the feedback we've got from some of them, as they've learnt from it. And actually, the Levines, their dad, Alan, and young Keegan Ethan spoke about how they learned how to block through the game simulation when it comes to teams. So, yeah, it has helped out a lot. And surprised you on the bigger world and the F1 world out there, you'd be surprised how many people, obviously, during this COVID time, couldn't get to certain race tracks around the world. They've had to go to the simulation world to get the closest thing to it. Yeah. Let's talk sponsors before we do wrap up the show. Sponsors, you want to do a bit of a shout out? You can go first, Ashley. Talk about your sponsors and the importance of that.
Obviously, major one is Dad, Halcrow trailers, Halcrow Engineering. Trailers, all our cars, everything like that. Another big sponsor would be Screenworks. So they did all my merch, they did all our sign writing, everything like that season. Advanced Panel Paint, painted my car. We got Taupo Brake on board for last season. Who else have we got? Got a season which we'll hopefully get more information on over the next couple. Major ones are mostly Dad and definitely Screenworks.
Awesome. Yourself, Danielle, better give a shout out to your sponsors who helped you get on the track.
Yeah, so Halcrow Engineering and race cars. 180 Photography, Cam, he does all of our design work. And so any of that you see, he kind of does that. And my car, and Edwards Panel and Paint. They've been painting my body for years now. They've been really supportive. Driven by Dirt, who have jumped on board this year. They've created an online, basically, marketplace for like all your sort of, clothing and stuff to sell to, your merch and that. And you can get it now 24/7 all the time, which is pretty cool. Screenworks is also on board with us, and they've been putting the wrap on my car for a couple of seasons now, and got my stickers and whatnot. So they've been real good to us too. So and then Pitts Media, they jumped on board season before last, I think. No, last season. They jumped on board last season, and no, season before last. God, I don't even know where my years are going now. And he kindly stayed on board. Well, all of them stayed on board, even though I was pregnant to do half the season, and stuck with me coming into the next season too, which is amazing.
What about merchandise? All the fans love merchandise. So you get into your merchandise. Actually, you got merchandise, or you all got a kind of merchandise where I'm guessing it's got both your cars on there as such, and all the sponsors, or you've got separate merchandise. You got your own merchandise out there?
Yes, merchandise that has myself, Danielle, and Dad on it as well.
Cool.
24/7 on the my Dirt site. Pulled out some, I think maybe about a year and a half ago. Just did one run of it, but we're looking at doing something else coming to next season. So that new design, new colours.
That's pretty cool, Danielle? In the merchandise, and when you think you see your fans out there, especially with you girls, and motorsport fans out there, they love buying merchandise. They love supporting you, eh?
Yeah, it's awesome to see, and you're always pretty chuffed when you see someone, in the mall or something wearing a hoodie, and you're like, that's me.
Okay, you see that? Did they recognize you, some of these fans, and ask, can we get a selfie or a photo or an autograph or something like that? Does that happen quite often to you girls?
At the track?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been asked out in public.
Okay. Yourself, Ashley?
Obviously we get heaps of it at the track. About a week of being up here, I didn't know anyone, and at work, actually, I had a couple of people actually gone, are you one of the Halcrow daughters? Or are you actually Halcrow? And they've while I'm at work in my work uniform.
Yeah.
Which is quite surprising, because I mean, little old Halcrow than what I ever realised. So I've had a few guys up here that are just completely away from the whole speedway scene.
Yeah. Danielle, what's it like, Danielle, when you tell your friends, especially all your girlfriends out there and everything, and when they realise that you're on a dirt track racing a high-powered car, where most girls you talk to these days, they play netball, they play their own bloody thing and do their own thing. What's it like when they ask you that question and you tell them to say, "Oh, I do speedway. I race a car." What's that like?
I guess if they're not involved in the speedway scene, they're kind of like, a what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you kind of show them and introduce them to it, and they're like, why? That's scary or unreal, or just they're amazed by it, and that's generally the reaction.
Yeah.
You kind of get from most people if they're not involved in speedway or anything like that.
I'm surprised. They're like, "Oh, you get dirty. It looks dirty." You don't know how it goes, eh? What about you, Ashley? What's it like when you tell your friends what you do, you know?
Majority of all actually partners of other drivers. So I've got like partner-wise Randall Tarrant, Kyle Ashton, all quite close with all their girlfriends. So there's only a couple of us in our group that actually race, so they always get behind us quite a bit. When I first started there, they were all quite surprised at what I did, and some of them had actually been in what they had, and that recent rollover I had in Napier. They obviously all seen the work on Monday. They were like, "How are you not hurt? Your car was absolutely ruined." But yeah, they all pretty cool that I do it. A lot of them want to come watch next time I'm racing somewhere more local to us. But yeah, they all find it pretty cool that I'm out doing what I'm doing.
Is that your worst accident from memory, Ashley?
Probably one of the more recent violent ones I've had. I've had a few rollovers. I had one in quite scary. It was a soft rollover, but I was at the front of, obviously, more at front, rolled on the last corner of the last race of a New Zealand title, and coming at me while I was upside down. But yeah, that one in Napier was probably more, since I had a little bit of a stiff neck and back for a couple of days there, had a good bruise under my arm. But yeah, I've never had any sort of serious anything to the speedway, which is good. They've got heaps of safety gear, which is really good now.
You Danielle?
I guess my worst one would have been in Palmy a few years ago, coming across the checkered flag. I was pushing a little too hard with another car and sort of got turned in front of that car, and I went nose straight into the wall and it flipped me over. But I got jammed up against the wall and the car caught on fire. So I think that's the worst one because, you belted in.
Yeah.
My window was up against the wall and I could see everything was running down onto me. The car was on fire and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, very scary moment. That's a very scary moment. Yeah.
They were very, very quick to put it out, and then by the time they got me out of the car, Ashley was already standing there helping me out. So
hey, that's the thing I like to, and that's the part where we'll wrap it up actually, with the two sisters, how you were there actually to help your sister at those times, and the two you work together so closely on the track when you're racing, and the privilege that you have to have your dad racing with you, like I say, your dad, the two girls are out there. It's one of the best things going around in the sport that we love, a speedway or any motorsport. There's not many that get that fortunate chance to do all that type of stuff. It's just clicked over 8:30, girls. Look, we can keep in touch with these two on their Facebook pages, Ashleigh Halcrow, 242 Racing, Danielle Halcrow, Motorsport. You can see them on there. We'll share some of that stuff all over the place. But I do thank you two taking our time to have a chat with us and share your little lives as speedway racers, even though your friends kind of look at you and think otherwise, it's just what it is. But you enjoy it. You live for it. You're obviously motivated to get back out there. It's not that far away. The turnaround of the season, that's been a bit different because of many reasons. So wishing you all the best. We hope to see you trackside, myself and Booker, and we'll catch up with you girls. And I think Booker's caught up with you previously once along the line at Miani somewhere, but Thank you for joining us, and it's just great, and I love enjoying talking to ladies in Speedway, and I wish you all the best in your future going forward, and take care, look after yourselves. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thanks.
Cool, Liz. Thank you very much. So there we go, the Halcrow sisters, Danielle and Ashleigh. Always good to catch up with family involved in the speedway sport that we love. And, you know, when you think Dad's been doing it for so long and he's been a big driving force, not only Dad, you know, you got the family, you got the crews, you got the sponsors, and just looking forward to a bright future with those two young ladies. And they shared us some things, how it all started. Danielle was in that OFA with mini stocks. Ashley was right into it. I'm guessing the way I spoke to them too, I'm guessing Ashley's more the tomboyish one of the two out of Danielle. But Danielle has to grow up here, mate, and we'll to see what happens. But awesome, you know, you got to thank them and appreciate what they do for the sport we love. Good to see you back, my friend. How you going? You're all good, Enjoy that?
Good, mate. Hey, listen, I think the passion from the pair of them in the sport is fantastic, you know. Yeah, I think the way they drive, you see them on the track, they're certainly not afraid to give it the hoot nanny, so to speak. But yeah, you know, and you're right. I think Ashley likes a bit more of everything, and maybe a bit more forward when it comes to driving, whatever. But yeah, I think they both do a great job, and I look forward to seeing what they do this season, mate. You know,
totally,
and it's great
totally.
to see them both having a go at the Super Saloon as well. You know, which we hope to see them both up there in the Super Saloons. You know.
Yeah, exactly. 100% right there, mate. And good on them for doing it, you know. And like I said, and they spoke about their friends, especially Danielle, trying to explain what they do. And you do what? You know, just all this type of stuff. But, you know, yeah, they're into it, and that's really, really cool. So I do thank each and one of you for the questions tonight, Modu. Yes, we'll catch up with the girls and us and their thoughts on Chesterfield and having a bit of a go at Manfield and so forth. And the memories of Martin Halcrow. Look, now I spoke to Danielle. Let's hope we can get her dad to join us sometime. He'll be a good chat, actually, with the racing and the career he's raced, and obviously with the cars with his daughters. And he's still going and he's still pedaling well, and got some good memories and good times of watching their dad race around. But just good to see the two girls, and it was a pleasure. Hey, don't forget to Sunday, Pops Chainsaws and Mowers, the E-Series is back, 8:15, the big builder to our round 2 with 24-25 street stock drivers online and, of course, 3 or 4 real-life drivers. The fun will be had at 8:15. We're live on multiple platforms, not only Facebook but YouTube and also on Twitch. So there's 3 different areas you can jump on board. Racing will get underway with my friend there, Bump and Run with Booker. He'll be doing the commentary. And we'll be back next Wednesday, same time, 7:30. And don't forget to next Saturday, I see Keegan Levine's got his big fundraiser night.
Yes.
Randy also done the raffle. So congrats to those who won the drives in this car. Well done to you. You'll be buzzing out for that. And it's all about getting these 2 young gentlemen over to the big Brisker, the big events over in the UK, which isn't that far away. We're hoping to catch up with either one of them. I know one's going to be traveling around in Ibiza, if I remember rightly. One's going to Ibiza. And what was it? One going to Venice, somewhere, Rome.
Those boys, I'll get into trouble over there, Kins. But yeah, I think it's the 23rd, and get your teams in for the quiz night to help support, raise money for the Levines to get over there, and I believe Randy's got some more promotional stuff coming up as well. So watch his page, but don't watch that fake page that was out there.
Oh, totally. You know, if you see any of this stuff, please report ASAP. It's the last thing we want to see happen to anyone, actually, in general. And don't forget to our E-Series Street Stocks. We've got a special event. We'll tell you more about that next week, which is going to be down in Wellington. Booker's going to be racing with us on the track, and it's a great event. So we'll push that definitely over the next few days. We are back on Wednesday, 7:30. Thank you once again for all your questions. Take care out there. The weather's not looking too good up and down the country this coming weekend. So be safe out there, and we'll see you back here in the cockpit with Kinser and Bump and Run with Booker. See ya.
See yous.
Give it the hoot, Eddie.